Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Faria, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a couple of TikTok-inspired Among Us crafts. Alright, so the first thing I'm making is this little cardboard crewmate with a cat hat. Mine is just a little bit bigger than my hand. If you wanted to make yours bigger or smaller, you would have to cut out the cardboard accordingly. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So for the first activity, you're going to need some cardboard. I just cut up a small box into smaller pieces. You will also need a glue gun and some glue sticks, as well as some paint. So here, I'm just measuring out 3cm wide strips and cutting them out to glue onto the sides. If you choose to make yours larger than this, you may want to cut out wider strips. If you choose to make yours smaller, then you may have to cut out narrower strips. Alright, so here as you can see, I'm cutting the strips smaller to go around the tiny little crevice areas. Those crevice areas are really hard to manipulate around. So wherever those tiny little areas like the ears and the top of the backpack and the bottom of the backpack, wherever those areas are, I'm just ending the strip there. And then the larger areas, I'm using a larger piece to cover. And then at the end, I'll go back to those small areas with smaller pieces to cover those. It's just a lot easier that way, I think. Alright, when you're ready to start gluing the other side, you'll have to move pretty quickly, otherwise the glue will dry and you'll have to start over again. So whenever you're ready, just get the glue on as quickly as you can and glue the other side on. Okay, it's time to paint, and I goofed a little. You need to go over the cardboard with a layer of white paint and then draw in the inner details and then paint with whatever color you want your crewmate to be. I'm also painting the sides to sort of keep neat and clean. I'm not concerned about the back, but I want to make sure the front and the sides look good. Okay, so now I'm just going over my little crewmate with some red paint. I'm also matching the sides to the front. I think that way it's just going to look a little bit better than just leaving the sides white. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So here I'm just going over it with a second layer of paint. I'm pretty sure I did 3 or 4 coats for this to be fully covered. So right now I'm just doing some outlines. I was using paint to outline. I don't know why I did that. It would have been a lot easier if I had just done it with a marker. So if you want to save time, just do the outlines with a marker. Here's the completed cardboard crewmate. I think all my mistakes aside, it turned out okay, and we're just going to move right into the next one. Alright, so the next thing I'm showing you how to make is this little mini painting. This is my library card. Actually, it's the front of my library card, and I've painted it with crewmates that are customized to look like Sailor Moon characters. On TikTok, I had seen people painting crewmates to look like many different cartoon characters, and I thought that was such a great idea. And you could customize your crewmates to look like any cartoon character that you want. I just decided to roll with Sailor Moon because I happen to love Sailor Moon. So for this one, you're just going to need three things. I just have my library card. You could also do a bus pass, something that's safe enough to paint one side of. You're going to need some paint and something to seal the paint with. Okay, so I'm just starting by painting the front of the card white. I just want to make sure I have a good base to work on. And then I'm going to sketch out my design. Okay, so here I'm just making some revisions. I wasn't a huge fan of how the hair looked, and I realized if I draw the hat, it's going to take up a lot of space, so I left those two things out. Okay, so I'm starting with a few coats of pink paint for the background, and then I'm going to sketch out the design and get painting. Okay, so the paint job is done, and now I'm just going to seal it up and hope it works out. I've never used the Mod Podge spray before, so fingers crossed, guys. Okay, folks, so there's the Sailor Moon card all done. I did have a bit of a problem with this. The part where I sprayed the card with Mod Podge got deleted, so I'm just going to explain what had happened. When I sprayed this with Mod Podge, the black marker that I had used bled onto the painting in a number of areas, and so I had to wait for that Mod Podge to dry completely and then repaint those areas and then spray it again. And now, as you can see, it looks okay. If you do decide to try this at home, what I would recommend is that you outline a small area, seal it with Mod Podge or whatever it is that you're using, and see what happens. If it works fine, then you can carry on. If it doesn't work fine, I would recommend only using a black Sharpie to outline, or use a small paintbrush and black paint to outline, and that should work fine. So here's the last thing I'm showing you how to make today. This is a Crewmate clay pin. I am so in love with this little thing, and I cannot wait to show you how I made it. Okay, so for this, you're going to need some oven baked clay. I have original Sculpey, which is nice and soft, so I don't have to spend time squishing it and softening it. You're also going to need some paint. You're going to need a pin backing. I got mine in bulk from Amazon. I also used some Sculpey glaze. This is optional. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. And finally, I also have a butter knife to shape and mold my clay. This is not the best thing to use to shape and cut clay, but I had to roll with whatever I had. The other thing is you definitely want to make sure your work area is completely clean. If there's any dust or lint, it will need to be removed, because otherwise you're going to have one dusty piece of clay, and you don't want that. Believe me, I learned it the hard way. I also wanted to mention that if you're not a clay pin person, you can also make clay magnets or clay hair clips. Those little magnet bits and hair clip bits are available on Amazon. They're available in craft shops. Sometimes they even have those things at the dollar store, so you can adapt these clay designs into something that is more appropriate for you. Alright, my clay pin is ready to bake. I'm supposed to bake this for about 15 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm going to do that in a bit. For now, I'm just going to take this pin backing and press it into the back so that it has something to settle into once I'm ready to glue it on. Alright, so I've got my lone Crewmate on a piece of parchment paper on a pan all by itself. If you're making more than one, it's probably not going to look so funny, but yeah, I'm just going to go pop him in the oven, and I'll check on them in 15 minutes and see what it looks like. Alright folks, I'm back from my walk. The pin is done cooling. I'm just gonna paint it and stick on the back. So I'm just going to stick on the pin backing now, and then after that's done, I'm just going to glaze it, and that should be it. Okay, so my battery died while I was glazing, but here it is all glazed and done. I love how it turned out, and I think it's probably my favorite out of the 3 things that I've tried today. Alright everyone, that's all I've got for today. If you've made it here, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll give some of these crafts a try at home. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone!